Thank you. A real privilege to be here, and thanks for your time. Today, I'm talking about a vanadium project, not a uranium project, but ultimately more so what I'm talking about, I think, and I'd like you to have an open mind to today, is a vertically integrated business that creates a platform to invest into the energy sector. And although we're at a mining conference, please open your mind to the concept that a mining business, in this case, is actually also an energy business. We find ourselves at this incredible intersection of energy and mining. Please read the disclaimer on your own time. Here's why vanadium's interesting, and I think Gavin's addressed the flow batteries to some extent, but I want to highlight the one reason that I think we are going to become a platform energy company as opposed to just a mining business. There's an incredible opportunity here for us to unlock competitive advantage along the whole supply chain. And that is that the battery in any typical vanadium application is going to be comprised of over 50% value vanadium. There is no nickel, cobalt, manganese, or other things, as Gavin said. And that's really important because the rest of this value chain is so elegant and simple that if you're able to control the volume, price, and importantly, the quality of vanadium oxides, you have the opportunity to be competitively advantaged in batteries and, more importantly, in the energy sector. And that sector is new and emerging, but it is right now, and these batteries are being deployed at an incredible scale globally, particularly China. But today, I'm going to focus on the Australian opportunity because that market in and of itself is such a huge addressable market, and there is such an important need for our country to utilize this technology to get there. And importantly, it is a cost competitive technology in that space. This is a typical picture you'll see in lots of jurisdictions. I'm highlighting Victoria because it's a particular here and now case study in Australia. This is a recent 24 hours, and you can see here that Victoria is underpinned by some 4 gigawatts of brown coal. And whether or not you believe in the energy transition, what is real is those coal assets are aging and need to retire soon. Some of them are scheduled to retire, but ultimately they're either going to retire or continue to be unreliable and not cost effective. Now, the solution right now is to replace that with renewable energy. And no matter what that extent is, and whatever view you have on the penetration of renewable energy in Victoria, you will need 8-hour batteries to make a meaningful impact. You can see some small slivers there that represent lithium-ion 2 or 3 hour batteries doing their work. And you'll see the energy market transforming in the next 2 years to commercially drawing in long duration batteries, and vanadium flow batteries are uniquely capable of doing that cost effectively for the long term. I'm not going to dwell on the merits of vanadium flow batteries. Importantly, they last a long time and they don't degrade. And ultimately, that I'm an economics major as well as an engineer. I believe in things taking off because of economics, and that really is what's going to drive it. You can cycle these batteries as many times as you want every day. And in the context of a grid-connected utility scale battery, that really matters. If there's people who build spreadsheets, I encourage you to go off and work that out because it really does matter. And the ability to what we call the Swiss Army knife effect of a vanadium flow battery to do multiple things without any damage to your battery is going to become increasingly important. And coming to the economics, you won't know this term if you're a mining person most likely, but LCOS is what we need to understand as a mining business, because LCOS is the ultimate thing that the customer will decide in terms of selecting a technology. Importantly, we are already competitive with lithium ion at 4 hours, and then this becomes even more compelling the longer the duration is. Right now, the AEMO is the Australian forecaster. They are saying the average need for batteries is actually 11 hours in the coming years, and that market is going to grow by 6 gigawatt hours per year. That, for us, if we even got into full production with our upstream asset in Western Australia, we would just be a drop in the water in terms of that market context, let alone the global opportunity. Vanadium flow batteries are proven. I'm not up here to tell you a story about an R&D exercise. These are being deployed at utility scale. They have been grid connected for almost 20 years with immaculate track records. This is a Gen 4 product with many international suppliers who have a track record. So what we're proposing here is an existing proven technology with a new market application, and it's happening as we speak. In China, you talk about as we speak, there is 20 gigawatt hours of batteries under construction and another 50 gigawatt hours in the pipeline. In terms of the vanadium industry, that is a staggering amount and would represent transforming the entire market from what is historically a steel industry story to a battery story overnight, and indeed that is happening as we speak. Here's our business, and we've done a lot of deep thought about how to leverage our competitive advantage here. We started with a tier 1 asset in Western Australia. That's tier 1 because it's in Western Australia, but it's also capable of being unlocked in the relatively near term. We think it's one of the most advanced, if not the most advanced, tier 1 assets in the world in terms of the vanadium world. What else does tier 1 mean is the opportunity to become a low-cost producer. So ultimately, can you produce high-quality vanadium oxides at the right price means that you will have lasting competitive advantage in the energy sector. And again, it comes back to this thing that the vanadium supply chain really only needs vanadium. If you want a flow battery, every other part of that supply chain is relatively straightforward to scale. If you can make vanadium at volume and price, you're there, and quality. In the midstream, this year we're very proud that we not only commissioned an electrolyte facility, commercial scale in Perth, we've actually deployed on-spec electrolyte into a battery with our very valued customer, Horizon Power. Again, this is a mining company signing commercial contracts with an energy industry player like Horizon Power, who really sees the promise of flow batteries to deploy across their entire network. I think that's a wonderful story. So the midstream is an opportunity to prove the technology and then unlock the downstream. So we do have several downstream projects in play, and our story now is unlocking, because we have all the right building blocks, utility scale vanadium flow batteries. That is doing what China's already doing in the Australian context. Here's our tier 1 asset. I'm not going to dwell on that because there's a separate presentation. It is a tier 1 asset. Importantly, we're on the last runs of permitting, finalizing our combined feasibility study from a recent merger, and bringing that all together so that we can have all the building blocks to reach FID in the not too distant future. And importantly, we think in the timeline that almost perfectly fits this long duration market growth. On the midstream, we're qualifying our electrolyte with 7 international vendors. I think it's telling that these batteries are proven that there is that depth of suppliers internationally that want to qualify our electrolyte. We want to become the near-term supplier of choice. In the interim, we're importing oxides, but ultimately we see ourselves supplying our own oxides to deploy electrolyte. The downstream story is about partnering, and we think these are the key catalysts to look out for in our business. There is the upstream in terms of permitting and getting it to FID, but importantly, this is about unlocking grid scale and that story of platform investment into long duration. We think we bring a really compelling solution to our customers, and the customers are going to be energy off-takers. That is the Jen Taylors of the world who can secure energy storage in long duration at competitive cost, LCOS. We're also doing the right partnerships now with OEMs and construction partners that are going to allow us to deploy at the lowest cost grid scale batteries. And last but not least, we're securing the financing and land access opportunities we need to properly unlock those opportunities. In summary, we are a mining business to start with, but we're actually a vertically integrated story. I would like our investors to start seeing us as an energy storage platform. And it sounds strange, but it's not. That supply chain lends itself to a business like us unlocking competitive advantage at every step and ultimately delivering platform investment into the energy sector. Thank you.